Cuan Beo, which is a community environmental group operating out of Galway Bay on the west coast of Ireland. We are working on the Galway Bay Oyster Restoration Project. We work at the St. George's Oyster Fishery Bed. We have 2 oyster restoration sites at this location, the north site and the south site, and in 2020 we deployed 200 tonnes of oyster shell culture at these sites for the purpose of reef restoration.
BIM are involved in oysters and aquaculture and inshore fisheries, and we have been working with the fishing community to try and restore the oyster stocks within the St. George's Bed. So we were delighted really when Cuan Beo came into existence, and we've been working with them and with the Marine Institute on a project over the last 2 years, so we're all collaborating together.
I work with the Marine Institute, and the Institute has been involved with this project since about 2017 when we started to talk to Cuan Beo. We've been funding the programme since 2017 through the European Monetary Fisheries Fund. So in particularly we want to look at what affects the survival and growth of young oysters, of oyster spat, and the effects of temperature and salinity on their performance at sea.
Well, we've set up here as an experiment to see how oysters basically perform in different temperatures and different salinities. And we have 5 different temperatures, and in each tank then we have 5 different salinities. And in each container we've got 30 oysters. We monitor and see how they survive. We will give them plankton and we'll get the feeding pattern.
We have been funded to do some work in spatting ponds just down the road from here, Cartron Point shellfish.
We have 10 spatting ponds here in this facility. The production of the native, otherwise known as Ostrea edulis, is done here only in the spatting ponds. We have, over the last 12 months, provided for 2 ponds that will be involved with Cuan Beo in rejuvenating the oyster beds in the greater Galway Bay area. The idea behind it is that you remove broodstock in June, place them in the ponds, and when they spawn within, which is the release of the larvae, into the pond water, we can get up to 10 million spat settled on culch. And culch consists of either mussel shell or oyster shell.
Today we're at Iascaigh Canallan's hatchery in Cartron, and we're taking out oyster spat out of the spatting ponds for redistribution to oyster farmers in Galway Bay. So we've taken out oysters that were born in 2019 and oysters that were born here in 2020. So we're putting them into cages, and we're going to give those to the oyster farmers tomorrow. And then over the winter and next spring, we're going to monitor the growth and survival of those oysters in the different locations around the bay.
All of this is to establish what is the best strategy for enhancing the development of an oyster bed. In other words, bringing it back to the levels of production that it had in the 19th century.
Hopefully now, over the next 2 or 3 years, we will see those oysters, see how they grow, how they survive, and we will be able to see what the most cost-effective and productive way of restocking a fishery is, because we also need to ensure that the seabed is restored, that there is a substrate for the wild oyster to settle.